Hello everyone, here is the video of me graphing a hyperbola, walking through it. Up at the top here I've written an equation that this is the equation that we are going to be graphing. X squared over 16 minus y squared over 25 equal to 1. Again, that's following the form for a hyperbola. It's also telling us that our center is going to be 0, 0. And I've went ahead and written down some vocabulary words and labels for you here, which we have: A is the distance from the center to the vertex, B is the distance from the center to the side of the rectangle, C is the distance from the center to the focus. Our graph in this problem is going to be left-right because X is the positive value, the positive variable, pardon me, and we'll get to the asymptotes shortly. Okay, so with that information in mind, we can go ahead and take this equation, and we know right away that our A value is going to be 4, and our B value is going to be 5. Okay, so our A is 4, our B is 5, and again, in hyperbolas, A does not have to be the bigger number. A just needs to be from the center to the vertex. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead, and again, we're in the X direction. We're left to right. So I'm going to move out 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, and 4 spaces to the left. And there's where our vertex is going to be. Now our B is 5, and so I'm going to use that information to count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and count down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now that I have those locations, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use that information to build a rectangle, and that rectangle will look like this. Again, using the boundaries from the A and the B to create that shape. Now, with those boundaries, I then am going to take, and again, our center was at 0, 0. I'm going to go ahead, and if you were doing this on paper, you'd take a straight edge and you'd go ahead and draw in your asymptotes. And your asymptotes travel, and I'm not using a ruler here, so excuse my bad drawing. Your asymptotes travel through the corners of your rectangle. So there's your first asymptote, and your second asymptote would be here. Okay, and we'll get to those equations in a second. At this point, I'm ready to draw my graph, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and I would take, again, it's a left-right opening. So this is my vertex. I can go ahead and draw in this half of the bowl and the other half of the bowl. And don't forget, graphs hug asymptotes. And so these two would want to hug this asymptote. Now, they may look like parabolas, but they are not parabolas because they are bound by the asymptotes. Parabolas don't have any asymptotes bounding them. These guys do. Okay, so I just call them bowls because, again, they're not parabolas. Okay, other things I need you to know. The focus. The focus, of course, will always be lying inside of the bowl. And how that gets created is if I were to take this piece right here, notice that this would be C, this was our A, this was our B. And what you're going to notice is our relationship here is C squared equals A squared plus B squared. Remember I told you way back when we looked at ellipses, the hyperbola equation has a minus, this relationship has a plus. In ellipses, the equation has a plus and the relationship has a minus. So what happens is, if I think of this as being a radius, if I were to lower this down that's going to give me the location of my focus. So if I calculate that, c squared in this case would equal a squared plus b squared, which is 41. So c would be the square root of 41. Now I'm going to need to change that into a decimal so I know where to locate it, and that turns out to be about 6.4. And that, again, that's the whole purpose, is just location. So here's 4, here's 5, here's 6, and not too bad, my drawing here. This would be the location of your focus, and in terms of coordinates, that would be root 41, comma 0. And then over here, 5, 6.4, this would be negative root 41, comma 0. Okay, now to our asymptotes. Writing the equation of your asymptote, you are going to want to, again, as I have written here, the slope of your asymptote is always your y number over your x number. And in that, I'm talking about our y number here was a 5, and our x number here was a 4. And so that being the case, my slope is going to be y over x, and so that's going to be 5 over 4. And both of these lines have a y-intercept of 0, so this would be y equals 5 over 4x, and then this other guy would be y equals negative 5 over 4x. Okay, hopefully that takes care of how to graph a hyperbola. And you all should be able to, this should help with the graphing. And I'm going to also do a second video where I walk through some of the examples from the note packet. So that should help you out. Okay, I will see you guys next week. Thanks a lot. Bye.